Okay, here we are at Sydney Airport. Time for another adventure, and this time we're off to the Emerald Isle. This is going to take 2 planes, I think 23 hours in the air, and I should be landing around 7 a.m. in the morning, so jet lag depending, I shall then go into the city and try and explore and refrain from sleeping until much later in the day. Well, made it to Dublin. Arrived this morning, had a good flight, not much sleep, and now looking to spend the day exploring the city. I'm currently looking for Dublin Castle. I don't know what this is. It might be Dublin Castle, or if not, it's hopefully something very close to Dublin Castle. So yes, this is Dublin Castle. I just found out there was a sign on a wall. So that's good. But super excited to be here. I'll be visiting the state apartments in the castle, see what those are like. Initially, when you walk through Dublin Castle, you're taken through a series of quite empty rooms, as you can see here, with just sort of some paintings and text on the wall. I found these a little underwhelming. I was hoping for something a little more spectacular. But eventually you come across the state corridor. That's this beautiful arch ceiling, and it's a tribute to present and past presidents of Ireland. I really like that. And then eventually started hitting rooms like the state drawing room, the throne room, the portrait gallery, and these are fantastic. I absolutely loved these. And you can see incredible detail in the furnishings, in the finishes. It really felt like you were going back in time, and I particularly enjoyed this part of Dublin Castle. I'm currently in Ireland's National Gallery, and I have to say it's exceeded my expectations. I wasn't really sure what to expect. Also, I'm not the biggest art appreciator, but they had rooms of the Dutch masters, and I really enjoy seeing the Dutch paintings. And now I'm in this incredible place called the Great Gallery. It's just a phenomenal space. So it's I'd say it's well worth a visit. Now, when I came, I went in the entry and then I went up about 50,000 steps. Maybe that's an exaggeration. Just a word of warning, when you come to the National Gallery, depending on which way you come in, I feel like I did it wrong. I walked up like multiple flights of steps. I was completely exhausted by the time I got to the top. And then once I was in the room, like, it was good. I think there's a better way to see this museum, but anyway, I've just been stumbling across really cool rooms now, and it's been awfully fun. But maybe if you're going, you should maybe arm yourself with a map and have a plan. But it's been great. I've walked over from the National Gallery, and about 15 minutes away is this museum. It's the Epic Immigration Museum, all about Ireland and their history travelling throughout the world. The sign behind me says, "How Irish are you?" So let's find out. And you get a little booklet, and I have to go through and stamp stuff in the booklet. So I don't know, this looks like fun. The Epic Irish Immigration Museum was a lot of fun. Very interactive, just goes through Ireland from all sorts of different perspectives. There were some really good exhibits. Look, I did all of my stamps. I achieved a completed passport. It was good. And now, since it's my first day in Dublin and I haven't slept in a bed for a very long time, I think I'll probably head back to the hotel and have an early night, and fingers crossed the jet lag doesn't hit too hard. You can see here I made it onto a bus, and this is travelling through Dublin city centre along the river. What I didn't tell you is that I had tried to catch a bus to the Dublin city centre, but it was a bit of a disaster, and I ended up bailing halfway because I was on the wrong bus and getting a taxi the rest of the way. So on the way back I thought, no, that's it, I'm catching a bus. And finally, after trying several bus stops, got to the right one, caught the right bus, and then I ended up getting off a stop early. And it was one of those stops where it's a long way until the next stop. So I didn't video any of this because I was trying to figure out what to do. And then Google Maps was saying it was just a 9-minute walk to the hotel from the bus stop. So I thought, oh, that's fine. So I walked there, and Google Maps had managed to misplace my hotel. So there was a little grassy green and 2 little 7-year-old boys running around playing soccer. My hotel was not there. So then I had to find a landmark that I knew was near my hotel and then walk there because Google flat out refused to admit that my hotel was anywhere near there. And then that was like a good half hour, 40 minutes. And then once I got to this general area, I had an idea of where the hotel should be. And so I kind of walked around until I found it. As you can imagine, by the time I got back to the hotel, after my 2 flights, a whole day of exploring the city, and then my long walk back to the hotel, I was absolutely shattered. Trinity College. I think this is one of the oldest colleges in Europe. I'm not sure, but I'm about to do a guided tour and find out. But I've just walked in the door and it's incredible already. So really looking forward to this one. I was initially reluctant to sign up for the walking tour at Trinity College because I quite like exploring by myself and I'm not so keen on going around in groups, but this was excellent. They have students from Trinity College who sign up as the guides and take you around, so they have a lived experience of the place and they've obviously done a lot of research and preparation in taking you around, and they tell you all sorts of interesting stories from how the college was founded to notable figures that attended the college. Part of the tour included the opportunity to go inside one of the buildings within the college, and this particular building has examples of Irish marble sourced from different parts of the country, and it's the most amount of Irish marble in one spot, and as you can see, just absolutely incredibly beautiful. We had to be super quiet because there were students upstairs who were doing exams when we walked in. But you got a little taste of the college, it was excellent. And then when the tour concludes, you go up to see the Book of Kells, which is probably the most famous exhibit at the university. As part of that, you also go into the old library, which is just a really beautiful space, and probably one of the things I was most excited to see about Trinity College. My last day in Dublin, I had a late flight, so I was able to fit in a whole day of recording. And you can see me walking along another quintessential Dublin street, heading off to Dublinia, which is a museum that explores Dublin's history from the Viking times. The museum runs across 3 floors, and each floor has a different theme. So the first floor is focused around the Viking history connected with Dublin, and they have like almost to scale recreations of a Viking road and different parts that you can go and visit. Then the second floor is the medieval section, and again there's a life-sized village replica that you can walk through with information about the history, the tools of the time, the people of the times, and it was nice to be immersed in it yourself. And you can see here just the awful statistics. 15% of women dying in childbirth. The average life expectancy for a man was 30, and almost a third of children die before the age of 10. Makes one very grateful for what we have today. You can see here there's a recreation of a medieval fair. You can take a rubbing of some tiles from that time period. And then from that section you head up this quite grand staircase up to the top level, which is the most modern but still historical part of the museum. Another thing that you can do is head up St Michael's Tower. It's 96 steps to get up to the top, and a lovely view over the city of Dublin. Now, one of the things I was most excited about in visiting this museum was that it connects through to Christchurch Cathedral on the other side of the road. And I've put a photo in here that shows the internal bridge that you walk through. And basically, when I saw that this was how you walked from the Dublinia Museum to Christchurch Cathedral, that was basically enough to convince me to buy a ticket. And you can see the internal part of this bridge is really spectacular, and it seems remarkably unchanged from when it was first constructed. There's these staggeringly beautiful stained glass windows on the sides, and when you get to the end of the bridge you turn left and you can see there's the entrance down the stairs into the cathedral, and if you turn around behind you there's this spectacular 3-panel stained glass window. I'm sitting here in Christchurch Cathedral, one of the largest cathedrals here in Dublin, and it's got a history of over 1,000 years, which is incredible. It's just an amazing building. It went through a fire, the roof fell in, was in a temporary stage for 300 years, and they restored it to what we see today, which is a mixture of the 18th and 19th century architecture. And I just found out that the world premiere of Handel's Messiah was actually here in this cathedral in Dublin, which is it's just hard to imagine, but yeah, right here, right in front of me in the choir stalls. There's lots of places to go and see, an amazing crypt downstairs. It's well worth a visit if you can make it. I'm sitting here in this beautiful, what we would call a park, but is called a green. It's St Stephen's Green here in the centre of Dublin, and it's just absolutely lovely. There's lots of people out and about. Of course, I'm wearing my double jacket, but there's people just sitting, enjoying the sun, sitting on the green, and just picnicking, painting, walking their dogs. It's just absolutely beautiful. After St Stephen's Green, I headed off towards St Patrick's Cathedral, which is the other landmark cathedral in Dublin. And I was just heading down this quaint little street and I stumbled across this little sign to Marsh's library containing some really old books, some printed on the Gutenberg printing press. So I definitely had to pop my head into this place. So this contains a large collection of books. They had various display cases out showcasing some of the books. They were primarily theological. It was really, really interesting. And then this is the exit out the back of the library, which goes through this beautiful little garden that's tucked away. And again, it just seemed like another little secret spot in Dublin. Just round the corner is St Patrick's Cathedral. Now, this cathedral dates back to the 5th century and the building that we see today dates from 1220. In one of the side chapels there are a number of regimental flags that are hanging up, and it was interesting to find out that they actually let them hang up and simply wear away over time in memory of the people that fought in wars for Ireland. The cathedral also has a large pipe organ, and these are the stairs that lead up to the pipe organ. Seems to be kind of a death trap, and no doubt as an organist you need to be nimble and good on your feet to make it up and down the stairs to play the organ. But it was a really beautiful church, and I was able to stay for evensong, which was a first time experience for me, and I really enjoyed it. And that ended my time in Dublin. From the cathedral, it was time to head to the airport and fly back home. So I think Dublin, on the whole, it was an unexpected delight, and I feel very blessed to have been able to go and visit this city.